Good afternoon, welcome to Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, my name is Reese 4Ps from KFC or Wookie Triple XL, and in today's review, we're going to look at the Glorious GMMK. I'm going to split these into 3 separate reviews, but they're all going to be pretty similar because just on the face value of having looked at the things and having used this one now, let's say extensively, I have come to the conclusion that they're all pretty much the same. They're all at the same price, which is a bit weird because you're getting physically less keyboard with this one than the other ones, which is strange, glorious. I don't know about that. But what I do know is they've created a really nice platform for you to build on here. So starting off with the package and the physical setup out of the box, you do get a proper keycap remover, which is just for pulling keycaps themselves, and then you get a switch remover tool, which is literally digs in underneath the sides over here, and with a bit of a heave ho, well, I've already moved one. They're not easy to take out, which is a good thing, so they're not going to just fall out randomly, and you won't be the what's your problem green guy where he smashes his keyboard and literally every manner of thing goes flying. The base keys that they come with are the Gatorine switches, the Gatorine Browns, which are pretty nice. They're not bad at all. They are, I would say, second after Cherry for like the broad perspectives of the market. I'm sure there's some very advanced keys out there. So I'm not like a keyboard builder. Don't put me to a stake. And this is really actually my first experience with a kind of DIY keyboard. The backlighting is on the actual keyboard itself and built into this absolutely incredible frame. The frame is like, it weighs a ton. It's a single piece of aluminium and it's beefy to say the least. This is probably the heaviest keyboard I've ever reviewed to date, to be very honest with you. And it's not a bad thing by any means, because it means it's built like, well, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's biceps. Moving to the underside of the keyboard, we've got 2 really nice kickstands coming out over here, and then 4 rubberizing areas for if you're not using the kickstands. The kickstands are rubberized on the end of them as well, so it doesn't go anywhere when it's on the desk. And with the kickstand out, I much prefer that. It is at a really nice, comfortable level like that. Your hand feels quite natural. Some people prefer it flatter, in which case it actually does lie perfectly flat. The keys aren't actually raised up at all. It is almost as well as perfectly flat as you could imagine. It comes with a detachable USB Type-C cable that is 1.8 meters long, very standard, nice gold tips on it, and unfortunately they have left this white in here. I was hoping they would make it orange like they did with the Glorious Model O's, but they've left this plain white. It's fine, it's nitpicky. I just would have liked to have seen some more of that orange carry through, because they've done that with the key puller, which then fits into the bottom of the keyboard as well. And then the standard escape key is actually this send key. It is a hard painted cap, so there's no RGB that comes through here. So I did prefer having the normal escape key that then has a clear escape over there, so all that light comes through. And then for the Windows key, you can actually swap it out with the Glorious logo itself, which I obviously did because the bearded man looks friggin' awesome. Just to show that this is 1.8 meters, there we go. It is the span of my length basically, which you'll see it's a couple centimeters short, which is expected because my span I think is 184 and I'm 185, so it's more or less, well, it's 6 foot is what they quote, so that's actually 183, so it should be just short of that. So it is actually 6 foot, so it should be 183 centimeter. I'm actually going to break out the tape measure and check to see if they are accurate or not. Now we get to everybody's secret favorite section, the RGB and lighting test. If you can't see it on camera, let me tell you, this is probably the brightest keyboard I've ever seen. And the fact that the LEDs themselves are within the keyboard itself is really nice, because you don't have to worry about having keycaps that have LEDs built into them, because it's going to take care of all of that for you. The software is very simplistic, and actually brings me to another point about the physical layout of the keyboard. The one thing that really confused me was I was like, there's a function key, but there's nothing printed on the keycaps to indicate that they can be used for function key setup. So the one I found natively was the Windows key. I just hit function Windows and it did lock the key as I was expecting, and unlock. Then I started poking around the keyboard and noticed some stuff in my Windows was changing. So I was like, there's clearly keys here. So I went through the manual and the software, and then when I was in the software, I found all of the assignments are there in the software, but they're not on the physical keycap. It seems like a bit of a mistake from me. Every time you're going to have to look for a reference on a key, I must now start the software. That's a bit of an oof from me. Other than that though, as far as the physical setup goes, the thing's built like absolutely incredibly, no questions there. But for going further into the software, it's very simplistic, it's pretty straightforward, and it was easy enough to use. The only thing that left me somewhat perplexed was the macro editor. While you can edit macros, if anybody, and I mean literally anybody, even Glorious, please hit me up. If you can show me how to assign that to a key, I'll buy you lunch, because I've tried for like 40 minutes and literally nothing worked. I don't know, it seems like they're in a beta phase with this product. It's still a really good beta. I think based on the, say, 1,700 Rand price point with the physical setup that you get, there's like really sturdy frame, the keycaps, the switches, the LED, everything. All of that already presents pretty good value. Having all the function keys and stuff for volume and all of that sort of stuff also presents pretty good value. I just wish it was printed on here. That's about the only major change I would make here. The macro editor stuff, I'm sure, will be improved with software updates, and then we'll be able to assign it to different keys, and it seemed to work pretty easily. I would like also just a little bit of fidelity on the pictures and images, please, inside of that window. It does look a little bit compressed. If you need help with that, hit me up. I've got a media company. We do these things. All around, though, I have to say, it's a pretty damn nice keyboard. If you are a Glorious fan, and those, you know, two sort of caveats to an otherwise very good product don't really irk you, and this will be a good one to go for. You can get spare keycaps, you can get different switches. I mean, the sky's the limit with this. You can customize it to your nth degree. Personally, I would change WASD to something with a very heavy key press, like a Cherry MX Black, for instance, and leave the rest with these browns, or with reds, Gatorade reds, or with even with a Cherry MX Reds you could swap out to on this keyboard. Really, your imagination is your limitation over here. And I have to say, I really like that in this direction from Glorious, because they're putting your preference into your hands. There's a one size fits all here. This is the 61% or the 61 key. There's going to be a 10 keyless, which I'll do the review on, which has everything except the numpad, and then a full keyboard. And they're all going to have very similar setup to this. I mean, it's pretty cool. It is very, very cool. I haven't seen too many brands doing this, and I think they're jumping on in the right time, especially with everything that's going on right now in the keyboard space. I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think the drawbacks aren't that massive. The only one that hits me on a day-to-day basis is the function key, but the build quality, the keycap quality, the lighting, the kit that you get with it, the extras that you get with it. Really nice package from Glorious. Anyway, that is all I have for you in this review. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.
Watch me on the